Welcome back as we take you to a very deep and amazing journey of relaxation of bedtime story. Please like and subscribe to the channel so we can get your request on a story you want to listen to. Before we start, make sure you are very comfortable and in a very warm spot. Take a deep breath and make sure to focus your mind entirely on your breathing, forgetting about your worries in this short while as you get the best treatment you can give your brain. Okay, let's begin. In the emerald heart of Ireland, where the mist clings to the rolling hills like a whispered secret, lived a humble farmer named Mick Purcell. His small cottage sat nestled at the edge of a quiet glen, surrounded by fields that shimmered under the pale glow of moonlight. Each night, as the stars twinkled like scattered diamonds above, Mick would sit by his hearth, the crackling fire casting shadows on the rough stone walls, and dream of a life beyond his endless toil. The wind often howled through the glen, carrying with it strange melodic whispers that seemed to dance on the edge of hearing, as if the ancient land itself held stories waiting to be told. Mick, a man of simple means, paid little heed to such fancies, though his heart yearned for something more, something magical to break the monotony of his days. One evening, as the twilight deepened into a velvety darkness, he ventured out to check on his sheep, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and wild heather. The world seemed hushed, save for the soft bleating of his flock and the distant hoot of an owl, its cry echoing through the still night. As he walked along the worn path, his lantern casting a faint golden glow, he stumbled upon a peculiar sight. A tiny shimmering figure no taller than a child, cloaked in a robe of woven moonbeams, standing at the center of a ring of ancient stones. Its eyes gleamed like polished emeralds, and its voice, when it spoke, was as gentle as a lullaby carried on the breeze. "Mick Purcell," it said, "I am of the fairy folk, guardians of this glen under the starlit sky. For your kind heart and honest labor, I offer you a gift to ease your burdens." From beneath its cloak, the fairy produced two small bottles, one glowing with a soft amber light, the other a deep, mysterious blue. "These are enchanted," it explained, "one to bring you fortune, the other to test your wisdom. Use them under the cover of night, when the world dreams, and choose wisely." Mick, awestruck, took the bottles, their glass cool against his calloused palms, and felt a thrill of wonder ripple through him. He thanked the fairy, but when he looked up, it had vanished, leaving only the faint scent of wildflowers lingering in the air. That night, as he returned to his cottage, the bottles seemed to hum softly, as if alive with secrets of the midnight hour. He placed them on his wooden table, their glow casting eerie patterns on the walls, and pondered their purpose as the fire died down to embers. Outside, the wind whispered through the glen, and Mick felt as though the very hills watched him, waiting to see what he would do under the vast starry canopy. His mind raced with possibilities, each thought weaving into dreams of wealth and ease, yet a quiet unease gnawed at him, a warning that magic often came with a price. Over the next few days, Mick kept the bottles hidden, their light dimming by day but flaring to life each night, as if urging him to act when the world was cloaked in shadow. He worked his fields under the sun, but his thoughts strayed to the fairies' words, replaying them under the quiet of dusk. One moonlit evening, unable to resist any longer, he uncorked the amber bottle, and a warm golden mist spilled out, swirling around him like a tender embrace. It smelled of honey and summer meadows, and as it enveloped him, a voice whispered, "Ask for what you desire, but let your heart be true." Mick hesitated, then spoke of a modest wish, a barn full of grain to see him through the harsh winter nights. Instantly the mist shimmered, and when he looked outside, his barn was brimming with golden wheat, enough to feed his family and more. The sight filled him with joy, and under the silver glow of the moon, he felt a warmth in his chest, a hope that perhaps this magic was a blessing. Yet, as he gazed at the blue bottle still unopened, a shadow of doubt crept into his mind, for the fairy's warning echoed in his ears like a distant dream. What test awaited him if he dared to unlock its secrets? The night deepened, and the stars seemed to wink knowingly as Mick sat by his window, the weight of choice heavy on his shoulders. He knew that magic, like the fleeting light of a firefly, could illuminate or deceive, and he resolved to tread carefully through this enchanted journey. The glen outside lay silent, save for the rustle of leaves in the midnight breeze, as if the land itself held its breath, waiting for the next turn of fate. Mick's cottage, bathed in the soft glow of his lantern, became a haven of quiet thought, where dreams and reality intertwined beneath the endless Irish sky. His tale, only just beginning, promised twists as mysterious as the fog that veiled the hills each dawn, and as timeless as the stories whispered by the wind through ancient stones. The bottles, guardians of unknown power, rested on his table, their light pulsing gently, a reminder that even in the darkest hours magic lingered, waiting to guide or challenge those who dared to seek it. And so, under the watchful gaze of the night, Mick Purcell's life took its first step into a world where the ordinary and the extraordinary danced together in the shadows of dreams. As the days turned to weeks, Mick Purcell found his life transformed by the bounty of the amber bottle's magic. His barn overflowing with grain that gleamed like gold under the pale light of dawn. The villagers of the Glen, noticing his sudden prosperity, whispered among themselves, their voices carrying through the misty evenings as they speculated on his good fortune. Mick, wary of their curiosity, kept the secret of the fairy's gift close, sharing only smiles and vague tales of luck with his neighbors. Each night, as the stars emerged to blanket the sky, he would sit by his hearth, the amber bottle's glow a comforting companion, while the blue bottle remained untouched, its deep hue a silent mystery. The scent of freshly baked bread filled his cottage, a testament to the grain's abundance, and the crackle of the fire mingled with the distant howl of the wind, painting a picture of cozy contentment. Yet, beneath this newfound ease, a restlessness stirred in Mick's heart, for the blue bottle seemed to call to him in his dreams, its whispers weaving through the quiet hours of midnight. He began to wonder if greater wonders or perils lay within its depths and under the moon's watchful eye. His curiosity grew. One stormy evening, as rain pattered against his thatched roof like a soft lullaby of the night, Mick's thoughts were interrupted by a strange occurrence. A flock of his sheep had vanished into the glen, their tracks leading toward the ancient stone circle where he had met the fairy. With a lantern in hand, its light flickering against the driving rain, he ventured out, the air sharp with the tang of wet earth and pine. The glen seemed alive with unseen eyes, the shadows cast by gnarled trees twisting into shapes that danced in the corners of his vision. As he neared the stones, their surfaces slick with rain and glowing faintly under the fractured moonlight, he heard a faint bleating, and there, within the circle, stood his sheep, unharmed but surrounded by a ring of tiny glowing lights. These lights, like fireflies born of stardust, pulsed in rhythm, and from their midst emerged the same fairy, its robe shimmering as if woven from the night sky itself. "Mick Purcell," it said, its voice a melody against the storm. "Your heart has been tested by plenty, but beware the lure of more. The blue bottle holds a magic of ambition, and its price may steal the peace of your slumber." Mick, chilled by the warning yet drawn by an unspoken longing, nodded, promising caution, though his mind churned with questions as the fairy faded into the rain. The sheep, as if released from a spell, trotted back to him, their wool damp and smelling of the wild, and together they returned to the warmth of his cottage, the lantern's glow a beacon in the tempest. That night, as thunder rumbled like a distant giant's dream, Mick sat by the blue bottle, its light casting sapphire reflections on the walls, and wrestled with temptation. He knew the glen held ancient powers, forces that could bless or curse under the cover of darkness, and he feared what might happen if he unlocked a magic he could not control. Yet the fairy's words lingered, a riddle wrapped in the mystery of the midnight hour, and he wondered if ambition was truly a foe or merely a challenge to be met. Outside, the storm raged on, the wind howling through the hills as if carrying the voices of forgotten tales, and Mick's small world seemed poised on the edge of something vast and unknown. His thoughts drifted to the villagers, to their struggles under the same starry sky, and he pondered if the blue bottle's magic might help them as the amber one had helped him. The night stretched on, an endless canvas of shadows and whispers, and Mick's resolve wavered between caution and desire, each heartbeat echoing the pulse of the enchanted glen. The story of his journey, like the flickering light of his lantern, promised more twists beneath the veil of Ireland's ancient magic, where dreams and reality blurred in the quiet hours. Subscribe for more nightly tales. The bottles, guardians of fate, rested side by side, their glow a silent reminder that even in the darkest moments, a choice could illuminate or darken the path ahead. Mick's cottage, a humble refuge against the storm, stood as a testament to the balance between contentment and yearning, a balance he must soon strike. The rain slowed to a gentle drizzle, tapping a soft rhythm on the roof, and the glen outside seemed to settle into a watchful hush as if waiting for the farmer's next step into the realm of fairy wonders. Under the vast, clouded sky, where stars hid behind the tempest's shroud, Mick Purcell's tale wove onward, a thread in the timeless tapestry of Ireland's enchanted nights. The following evening, as the last embers of sunset faded into a deep indigo night, Mick Purcell sat once more by his hearth, the warmth of the fire a stark contrast to the chill of indecision in his bones. The storm had passed, leaving behind a crisp stillness that hung over the glen, the air scented with a clean, earthy promise of renewal. The stars, unveiled at last, pierced the sky like countless tiny lanterns, their light filtering through his small window to dance upon the 2 bottles on his table. The amber bottle's glow felt familiar now, a friend of fortune, while the blue bottle's sapphire shimmer seemed to pulse with a heartbeat of its own, daring him to uncover its secrets. Mick's mind replayed the fairy's warning, its voice echoing like a half-remembered dream, yet the pull of possibility gnawed at him, as persistent as the wind that sighed through the hills. He rose, pacing the creaking floorboards, the scent of lingering rain on his woolen cloak mingling with the smoky aroma of the fire, and finally, under the weight of a moonless sky, he made his choice. With trembling hands, he uncorked the blue bottle, and a cool, shimmering mist spilled forth, smelling of frost and distant seas, enveloping him in a chill that prickled his skin. A voice, deeper and more solemn than the first, whispered, "Seek what you will, but know that every gain bears a shadow." Mick, heart pounding, wished not for wealth but for knowledge, to understand the Glen's ancient magic, to protect his home and kin from unseen dangers that lurked in the twilight. The mist swirled, tightening around him, and suddenly visions flooded his mind. Images of the fairy folk dancing under starlit rings, of hidden hollows where time stood still, and of a looming shadow, a guardian of the glen that stirred when greed tipped the balance. The knowledge was vast, a tapestry of lore woven through countless nights, but with it came a burden. Each secret weighed on his soul, a reminder that magic was not merely a gift but a duty. Overwhelmed, Mick staggered to his chair, the blue mist dissipating into the air, leaving behind a faint hum that lingered like a forgotten melody of the dark. He understood now why the fairy had cautioned him. This magic was a double-edged sword, offering wisdom but stealing the simplicity of his once untroubled dreams. Yet, as the fire crackled and the glen outside lay wrapped in the hush of midnight, Mick felt a quiet strength bloom within him. He knew he could use this knowledge to safeguard his village, to warn of dangers that crept under the cover of night, and to honor the balance the fairy folk cherished. Days turned to weeks, and Mick became a quiet guardian in his own right, sharing cryptic but gentle warnings with his neighbors. Tales of avoiding certain paths on moonless nights, or leaving offerings of bread at the edge of the glen for unseen friends. The villagers, sensing a change in him, began to call him Mick of the Night, a name spoken with both awe and fondness, for his words often saved them from unseen perils. The bottles, now both spent, sat empty on his shelf, their glow gone but their lessons etched into his heart, a reminder of the night when magic had reshaped his world. Under the vast Irish sky, where the stars bore witness to his journey, Mick found a peace he hadn't known before, not in wealth but in purpose. He learned that true contentment lay not in endless wishing, but in embracing the mysteries of the Glen with a humble heart. Each evening, as twilight painted the hills in shades of violet and silver, he would step outside, breathing in the cool, heather-scented air, and gaze at the ancient stones where his tale had begun. The wind, ever a companion, carried whispers of the fairy folk, as if thanking him for heeding their wisdom. Mick's cottage stood as a beacon of quiet strength, its windows aglow with the light of a single lantern, a symbol of the balance between mortal life and the enchanted realm. His story, woven into the fabric of the Glen's timeless lore, reminded all who heard it that even in the darkest hours, a flicker of magic could guide one home. And so, as the night deepened and the world slipped into dreams, Mick Purcell's legacy endured, a humble farmer touched by fairy light, forever bound to the mysteries of Ireland's mist-shrouded hills.